All right. So thank you for joining back on the Tea with Nicky. I'm super excited for the guest that we have today. We'll be talking about data, AI, what is the hype versus reality. And so without further ado, I'm going to introduce Monika Obrocka. So for anyone who hasn't had their first sip of tea with you yet, who is Monika Obrocka and what problem do you spend most of your time helping businesses solve?
Good morning, afternoon, good evening to everyone, whatever time you drink your tea. Yes. I'm originally from Poland. I've been an immigrant for the past 20 years, really. Left Poland in 2005. I always describe myself as an engineer with a passion for science. My original or first love was radio astronomy. And this is also why I moved to South Africa, because of the square kilometer array and the Meerkat radio telescope that is busy being built and expanded in the Karoo Desert. Not there anymore, but I wish them all the best. I follow all of the news and everything, so that's nice. And now what I do is, as you, Nicky, already said, I help companies organize their data so they can squeeze out as much as possible out of it.
So you mentioned you love science and the telescope, etc. So you've gone from being a PhD level research in radio astronomy to practical AI for real businesses. So how did that path come about? Did you plan it or was it reality that just shifted you that way?
It's very difficult to plan your life.
That's true.
Yes. So I did had like a course that I set myself. So I wanted to work with radio telescopes. Yes, since I was a teen. But life throws stuff at you, but finally got there. And when I say engineer and that love science, I never really did observations. What I was into was to build radio telescopes and program them. So from that side. And science was also great because, it's fascinating, radio astronomy, especially in the past decade with the fast radio bursts that came up. But also, I have a very not specific personality, but I have a personality.
I hope so.
And it was kind of challenging for me to stay in the science world because it's kind of slow moving, and you think that working in corporate world has a lot of rules, but working in science, there's much more rules.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because
I definitely wouldn't think that.
Yeah, so definitely you don't really have like this career stability, and you have to go where the work is. So imagine, like, I knew that this will happen to me moving from then UK to South Africa. It's a big leap for people. Yes, so it's not like I'm gonna find a job in an office or something. You have to follow the project, which might be anywhere.
Yeah, that's true. So you also mentioned about data, and obviously in the world of AI, we know that data becomes really important. So you also founded a company called AI Decoded. So if a company approaches you and says, we want AI, what is the first red flag for you to notice that they're not ready yet?
Well, that question is the first flag. So usually, your first instinct is just to turn around and leave, but you need to have a conversation. And what usually happens is that the AI is the last thing they really need. And AI for people, it can mean many things, but for businesses and people that only started to learn about AI in 2023 when ChatGPT came around, but AI has been with us since the 60s. So
it was called machine learning at that point, but it's a more evolved machine learning what we're currently experiencing.
Yeah, so machine learning is still alive. Yes. So it's funny because back when in the early 2000s and we had big data, yes, because this is the time when the hardware becomes much more affordable to businesses. So everybody starts collecting a lot of data. So big data was the first thing. And then we had machine learning. Then we had deep learning, which was also was a massive hype about deep learning as much as AI at the moment. And AI is really generative AI. So it's generates data based on patterns. All of those terms that I just mentioned, they're still alive. They're not used as much in, normal news. But AI is a very broad term for everything, almost everything that I just mentioned.
Yeah. So there's obviously a lot of fear online about AI replacing jobs. So from what you're seeing on the ground, what are some of the roles that are actually at risk with AI at the moment? And which ones do you think will become more valuable because of AI?
So AI is definitely changing the landscape for people. And I think the biggest effect it had so far is on the software engineers themselves, because it's a blessing and a curse at the same time. We hear those big companies laying off a lot of engineers, and they use that excuse that it's AI, and it's partially true. I think they're just trying to save costs and raise their stock prices, but that's my conspiracy theory. So us engineers are the most affected. It's a blessing because we are much faster, not definitely 100%, but maybe 50% faster. And many more people can join in building stuff. And obviously a lot of engineers will say, yes, but they don't build stuff for production, which is still fine. Let them play. Let's all have Legos that we can play with. What I found out, because I also use AI to code, is that you don't know your code base. You just don't know it. Because you can get to know it if you just want to spend time and go through everything, but nobody really does. And I think even Anthropic said that they almost all the code that they produce is AI generated, and no one really checks it.
Oh, so you don't even know if it's good code?
No, yes, you could say that.
Good code.
It works.
Yeah.
It works, but it still might generate the patterns that are. Sorry, this is the morning.
Still getting your day voice coming in.
Yes, it's at my age, this is the thing. You just hide in the morning, so vampire vibe.
Yeah.
But yes, so I think that the software engineer and white collar workers are to some degree affected. Then entry-level jobs for software engineering are really affected because no one wants to employ engineers anymore, junior engineers. Everyone wants senior engineers, but they will run out at some point.
Yeah, I think also a lot of misconception about it. And I mean, it's obviously something that's been spoken about so much, and I've listened to a lot of podcasts about it as well. One thing I think that people get misconstrued or misconceive about AI is they think it's going to replace rather than enhance. I think that's the way to put it is, it's a tool to help us, to aid us to be more efficient, to do menial tasks that we don't want to do, as opposed to fully replacing. And we saw a lot of companies, like I think it was Salesforce, that said they weren't going to hire any more engineers because they've got AI running. And I heard from someone yesterday say that actually it's funny, these companies that were saying that, they're not going to hire any more jobs and laid people off because of AI have actually gone and rehired a lot of people because there still needs to be human intervention. AI can't just run on its own at this point in time until we get, what's the word, where it's like the supercomputer or something like that everyone's trying to build towards. I think the acronym is AGI or something.
Yes, but so artificial general intelligence is another conspiracy theory that I have. It's pushed by the VC in Silicon Valley to get free money for their startups. And AGI, so human brain is very complicated, and there's a lot of neurons there. And we just don't have technology to replicate that structure at all at this very moment in time. A few years back, there was talk about, time frame of like 300 years before we will be able to like download ourselves onto a hard disk. So I wouldn't be concerned about it at all. And when someone starts, convincing you that Terminators are coming in 2029, you should also, that's a red flag.
Yeah.
Because it's just, I wouldn't be concerned about it at all.
So on your LinkedIn, you talk quite a bit about data foundations before AI. And in this world of AI, most of us do know now that data is super important. But why do you think that data is still seen as this like unsexy, critical part of business that they try to skip as well?
Yes, it's been going on for a while, since I've been in the field. Machine learning, deep learning, AI always got this, forefront attention. And we all always knew that data is feeding those algorithms, but nobody really wanted to do that. And it's still the case. For businesses, they treat data as an admin burden. So for them, data is usually financials that they have to do. They don't really see how they collect or make data every single day by designing recipes, by going through a certain process. Even emails are data, yes? Everything that they touch and produce throughout their day is data that they can then use and look for patterns and learn how we can do things better. So this is why I have to do a lot of education.
I'm sure.
Yes, so that's the challenge, because no one speaks about data in the sexy way, as you said.
Yeah.
Data is always, no one wants to talk about it because it's admin, it's burden, it's boring. And I think it's only interesting to people that have this engineering flair, I guess, because working with data is great. Okay, it's fun. So yeah, this is why I talk a lot about foundations. Many businesses in South Africa run their businesses on WhatsApp.
True.
A lot.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can get away from it at some point, because WhatsApp doesn't give anyone a visibility into what is happening in their business.
Because it's encrypted.
Not only people create like disparate WhatsApp groups. Not everyone is on them. They're not under like organization. So it's chaos. And businesses very often think that if they slap technology on a problem, the problem will go away. But what happens is just amplifies the problem. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're speaking about you having to educate a lot of leaders about data, and then I assume before they start their journey in AI. So for the leaders that are watching and looking at AI trends online and maybe feeling overwhelmed, what is a practical first step that they can take to implementing some solutions in their company but will actually move the needle for them in the business?
It's look at your processes. If you feel like the processes in your business, they have SOPs, standard operating procedures, that are followed to some degree, there's a good chance that you'll be able to implement some kind of a data collection technology. But if your processes are not really defined, it's like tribal knowledge vibe at your business, then you have to start from the very beginning. And for example, I'm working with a manufacturer right now that we're not going to touch any technology for 2 months.
Okay. Just for what? Get the data foundations
Yes, they
laid
get
out.
the processes sorted out. So that's the This is why I call my methodology process data AI, because process has to be there to generate the same data every single time, or as close to similar as possible, so we can avoid spending too much time on cleaning.
Yes. Okay. So, and on the podcast, we like to rewrite the narrative of what failure means, or, you know, kind of change the sentiment towards it, because it's seen as quite negative. There's a lot of connotations to it. So what is your view and relationship with failure?
It's very important.
Yes.
And we very often, what we do, it's our psychology. We start something, and even though it's not working for us, we keep doing it. And it's this, I think it's called, I don't remember the exact term, but we feel that we already spend resources on something and we don't want to lose those resources. But we don't think about the future resources that we will waste on this. So it's very good to fail, because it means that we are learning. Sometimes failures feel bad. Like for me, when I started my business as an engineer that spent a lot of time in front of a computer, I had to learn how to sell.
Yes, so, I mean, especially when you are a business owner and you don't have a team around you, people often forget one of the most important first hires in the business is a salesperson.
Yes, and when you're a founder, you are the first salesperson.
You are the first salesperson. Before we move on to the ABC segment, it's just been sitting on my mind now quickly off of what you said about WhatsApp. There's a company, I've forgotten their name, they're a startup, and their model is doing data AI research through WhatsApp, because they've obviously noticed in countries like South Africa and Africa, not a lot of people will have emails. I think it starts with a Y.
Yeah, so Wakamoso. W, no.
No, with a Y. I'll get the name for you, and then I can drop it in the little caption as well, because I saw them pitch actually at one of our evenings, and they're doing data collection for companies, for institutes and research through WhatsApp, and created channels through there, because they realized that a lot of people in South Africa and Africa in general, there's obviously quite a big poverty line and disparity. So not a lot of people have access to emails, but they have access to WhatsApp, and they will have smartphones. So they've seen an increase in responses to WhatsApp for surveys or data research as opposed to emails. So you're talking about wanting to get away from WhatsApp, but do you not think that that could maybe be a new channel of collecting data moving forward, especially in a landscape like South Africa and the continent of Africa in general?
Oh no, WhatsApp is still very useful for those specific activities. I myself was involved in many projects that collected data through WhatsApp, especially on healthcare interventions. But for your business, where hopefully you have some resources.
Yeah, it can't be the one source of truth.
No, it cannot. And the biggest problem with WhatsApp is that the information disappears and it overwhelms people.
Okay.
And so one business that I visited, the workforce, they were constantly checking their phones, WhatsApp messages on the many groups that they were. And it doesn't create a good working environment, yes, because you're always stressed. You're afraid that you're going to miss an important update. It's just destroying workflow. So I would recommend to every business to get off WhatsApp as soon as possible.
Okay. And so in the podcast, there's a segment that I love, and it seems that some of the viewers love it too, so I'm happy to be bringing it back. I like to call it the ABCs of your career. So we'll start off with A. What was your big aha moment in your career, the point where something just clicked for you and it changed how you think about data, AI, and your role in the world? Because obviously you went from being a PhD student in radio astronomy to ending up in data. What was that aha moment?
So, leaving radio astronomy wasn't an easy moment in my life because it was my first love, yes? So
first loves and first heartbreaks are the hardest.
The hardest, yes. But, yeah. So it took me a year to make that decision to leave because, again, I like movement, action. I have a very direct personality, and it just wasn't working for where I was. So I had to make the adult decision and just move on. And it took me a while to find my place in the world. But during that time between starting my own company and leaving radio astronomy, it was a time for me to figure out what is my value to the world again. And I spent that time, because of the STEM education that I have, I spent it in data science, data engineering, machine learning operations, this aha moment that I had was back in, I think, 2024, when I started the company, is that I've been helping big companies and governments sort their data out. And how can I do it on a smaller scale?
Yes.
You know, like myself or maybe like a few other engineers. And it took me a while to figure it out, but I don't remember exactly the day, but I did have this kind of a moment where I'm like, because at first I think maybe I should just teach. But then I realized, after speaking with many businesses, because this research that you do is important. So obviously when you start a company, you will have many pivots. And those pivots happened in my business as well, at least 3 times, and I'm like young business. But you learn, especially by talking to people and finding out what they're struggling with and how you can help them overcome it on a budget, really, because the businesses that I work with, they don't have enterprise type budgets. So you have to figure out how you can still provide your services at a price that really give value. And that takes a moment.
I can imagine.
Yes, so, but it's great. I think not everyone can have their own business because it's hard.
It's very hard. My
It's
mom
stressful.
always says it's so glamorized.
Yes.
And people think that it's this great thing to have your own business. She goes, but you realize that you trade in from having maybe one boss, if you're working at a company, to having many bosses, because all your clients end up becoming your bosses.
Yes, yes. But what is nice, you can choose your bosses when you work for yourself. Yes. You can just decline to do a job, whereas when you work for someone, you can't. You know, I again don't recommend it to everyone, because cash flow is a problem for every business, big and small. So that's the biggest thing. And you have your salary every month, and it's a massive luxury.
Yeah.
And please have empathy for people that don't have salaries, especially if you work for a big business that works with small business. I sometimes joke that people with salaries can kill your business, because they don't realize you have cash flow needs. And for example, they will say, "Oh, let's wait for like when we finish with performance reviews or something like that." Those are still important. You are busy. We get it, but yeah, extending something that has to be done forever and not always works for small businesses. Yes.
Yeah, and you were talking about pivots and having to pivot your business 3 times, which I think brings us nicely into the next question, which is B. So tell us about a business blunder turned to blessing, which could have been a project or a pivot decision that didn't go according to plan, but it ended up teaching you something crucial.
So for me, my own business is all about the selling, and my journey on learning how to communicate the value that I bring, because obviously we're not there it's not a money grab. When you have your own small business, you really believe that you have a problem that you can solve for people. And I was trying to close this, for me, big contract, and what I failed to do is articulate the return on investment. So I wasn't able to say, okay, you spending that much money on this inefficiency, and because I wasn't able to attach a dollar value to what I want to do, they saw it as a nice to have, not must have. So this was, and because it was a lot of money for me that like disappeared, didn't materialize, that kind of pushed me on like getting better. And I really recommend Chris Daw, the Futur, he's a great person to kind of learn from about selling. Yeah, he's very empathetic and yeah.
Awesome. And C, what is your most worthy cinematic cock-up moment?
Oh my God.
The kind where in hindsight you can laugh about it now, but at the time it was painful.
Oh gosh, I don't think I have many of those. The cinematic cock-ups. You know, I'm a young business, so
So there's a few here and there.
Yes. So still might happen. This is why also it's important to have your professional insurance.
Yeah.
So someone will pay for your cock-up. Maybe I'm good at planning or foreseeing risks, but unfortunately, I don't really have like a big cock-up in my business yet.
That's fine. Touch wood.
Yes.
And now we'll move to just some quick fire questions.
Oh.
So, first thing that comes to mind, sentence, word, whatever you want to answer. But if you could ban one buzzword from the AI space forever, what would it be?
Well, AGI definitely. I would ban that. For 300 years at least.
Just for another 300 years. And if there is one AI myth that you could delete from the world and from LinkedIn, what would that be?
That it will make you rich.
Oh, that's a good one. Because you're seeing all these businesses, these ads pop up like on YouTube ads or somewhere. And it's like, use these tools and it works for me for the day.
And it will make you a millionaire. No,
it's like
it
those
won't.
pyramid schemes all over again.
And you have to compete with those people. And it's
can
like,
imagine.
so I feel like we are back into this hype of Bitcoin, cryptocurrency. Everyone is a crypto guru, and now everyone is an AI guru. And
yes, I remember, and I was speaking with someone yesterday as well about it, and I was saying, it feels like one of those moments where it was crypto when it first came out, and everyone was thinking, oh no, so is real money not going to exist? It's not going to mean anything anymore. Everything's going to go crypto, and now it's gone quiet.
It's gone quiet.
You hardly hear about crypto anymore.
Hardly, yes.
And what is one AI policy that you believe the world should put in place today?
So AI governance is a big field, and it's very important. With generative AI and especially AI agents now, the cybersecurity becomes even bigger problem or challenge for businesses. And definitely, please think about your security when you implement agents. Agents are the security of agents is still like a problem. It's fun to watch large language models being bullied into doing something. I'm not sure if you've seen, but you can bully an LLM by saying, I have a CEO here. If you don't do what I'm asking you to do, he will fire everyone and everyone will have no jobs.
Oh, wow.
And you can bully them like this into doing what you want them to do. So, yes, think about security.
I saw somewhere this week that apparently there's now a chat room for AI agents where they go and complain. I mean, we're talking about the Terminator not arriving in 2029, but I mean, if AI agents are already having chat rooms, that's quite scary.
Yeah, so this is the mold book vibe. It went viral, I think, last week, and I think it's already collapsing. It's moving so quickly, and people started also invading that space as well, but it's hilarious to read.
Yeah, it's because you were saying about them bullying, so I was just thinking about that, because it's like these AI agents with these huge statements saying, I did this for this guy, and da-da-da, and then I heard him call me stupid.
Yes. So it's super funny, and again, we have to be careful with anthropomorphizing AI. So my husband always, when he talks about Claude, he says he, and I always have to say, no, it's it. So please, everybody, let's don't give it those pronouns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not a conscious being
No.
yet.
No, it's 300 years.
Yeah. And lastly, if you could leave listeners with one mindset shift about data and AI, what should they stop doing immediately and what should they start doing instead?
Oh, wow. Okay. So hopefully everyone is playing with AI chatbots now. And all of the companies like OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, they all released free resources like courses and
That's what
guides.
Microsoft did as well for Copilot.
Yes, yes. So all of them have free resources, how to use them to their full advantage. And I would suggest that everyone stop playing, start learning. Yes, because it's the time. Like 2023 is like almost three years now.
I know.
3 years. So let's start using it properly, and you don't have to buy courses.
No, not anymore.
Not
at
anymore.
least.
Not anymore. That wave also passed, and you can make it really powerful for you. If you just go through one of the free resources, they're very useful and will change how you work with your bot. And maybe paying like those 400 rands a month for something makes sense. So free tiers are very limited.
Yeah.
And fun fact for OpenAI, only I think 3 or 5% of users, and they have more than 800 million users a week, pay for paid subscription.
I'm one of those that use the free version.
So they're not making money.
Amazing. Thank you, Monika, so much for joining us today on the podcast. I hope that the listeners take away something and learn something crucial about data and AI. And just to end it off, where can people find you, follow your thinking, or learn next from you?
So mostly you can find me on LinkedIn, Monika Obrocka on LinkedIn. You can Google me. You can Google me and you will find stuff about me as well. I'm not on my company is, but I post on LinkedIn and then random podcasts here and there.
Amazing. Thanks so much for your time again.
Thank you, Nicky.